Okay. Hi, everyone. Erin Alcoholic. My sober date is September 13th, 2017. I don't know why I'm nervous right now. I think I spoke on this meeting like 3 or 4 years ago. I'm glad to be back. And so, yeah, I hope that whatever I end up saying, I can help at least one person. I was taught to, I was told to try to identify rather than compare. I, for me, it's like identifying with the feelings of what it was like and what it can still be like through sobriety. Um, Coming in, I started drinking at the age of 16, and it just started, my drinking progressed. And I recently I was doing like I've done like timelines. I went to outpatient and like they had me do like a timeline, but like over time, like in sobriety, like doing a timeline of my life and like when I started and how things like really progressed. It's just that like inner child of mine, like that was really just like searching for something. And the solution I had was alcohol. That's what I turned to. That was my solution for about 7 years. And it continued to get worse. And those feelings of being isolated and just different from, and like like I finally found that through drinking. I was diagnosed in second grade with ADHD, and from that, like, I was told to not tell anyone that, like, to keep it a secret. Like, people will think of you differently. So just don't tell anyone. And I felt different at a young age, and I felt like I was like weird and like I couldn't tell anyone, and people would think of me differently. And like I would get time and a half in class, and um, I felt like I couldn't just be myself. And I can still feel like that today. Like wearing different masks depending on like who I was talking to. Um, and like I grew up in like a loving household, but like my parents were like my dad is a retired firefighter. Um, I grew up on, yeah, LICYPAA is the Long Island Committee of Young People in AA. I'm from Long Island, New York. So my dad was in 9/11, and um, like he's still alive, but like there was a point where it was just like he was always working. So like I didn't have, like, my dad was like the one that would just like let us do whatever, and my mom was the one that would try to enforce rules. And like I didn't really do anything. I have like two younger brothers, and I'm the oldest and the only daughter. So it was just like very like hard on me. Um, and like I didn't know like anything about September 11th. Like my parents like kept us away from that. And like only to realize as I got older, like how traumatic it actually was. My dad was sober like 19 years and like relapsed. He stopped drinking. Um, he stopped going to meetings after 9/11, and like 6 years later he picked up. And like that's when like started drinking at 16. And so it was like for me, like, and for him, like off to the races. And like not seeing that side of my dad before, it was like it was scary. And like going through like another addiction for me was like it can be anything. It could be food, it can be like my phone. Like it was like I was like talking to people online, and I ended up talking to this, I did not knowing, but I was talking to this pedophile. And this was like right before I started drinking. And I don't know why I'm sharing this right now, but this is what's meant to be. But like I had Homeland Security come to my house telling me that, like asking me questions, and I had no idea. And all of a sudden, like it came out that this guy was like completely lying. And um, like I was able to like testify. And but like around this time, like I started drinking, and like that's when it really like took off. And like that was like my solution of like dealing with my feelings. And it was just like the shame behind that too, of like why would I show this person like pictures of myself, and like being embarrassed, and like me being like a child. And like I was just getting bullied in school and like all these things of like I turned to alcohol so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. And like I went to the hospital for the first time when I was 16 and um I continued to like there was like two other times I went to the hospital and like I went off to college and things didn't get any better. It just got worse. Waking up in like random places or like an RA finding me in a bush and like just embarrassing things that I can laugh about now because like that's not my life today whatsoever. Um, but like having that shame of like, oh my God, I did that. And but it's like it's okay. Like that's not me today. That doesn't define who I am. Um, I came in like I was just, it got to that point where, because my parents were like, Erin, like, you need to go to outpatient. I'm like, I need to go to rehab. I need to get away. Like, freaky, like, just all of the excuses in the book of like why I couldn't stay sober, like, why I couldn't stop. And like, I remember my brother's bet, like, I couldn't go 2 weeks without drinking. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do it. And like, I couldn't go 2 weeks without drinking. And like, I knew I had a problem. But like it got to that point of just like, okay, like I'm done. And like a few weeks before I got sober, like I was crying to my friends, like the hopelessness of like and like fear of like I know something's about to change and I don't know what, but I'm terrified. And finally, like that, my parents, like, they were just like, Erin, here's, it was like a 3-day bender I was on. They're like, here's the information for this outpatient. Like, all you have to do is call. And like that sense of relief, like, just my, like, I could feel like the weight lift off my shoulders. Like, I started crying. And I, that was on September 11th that my dad like sat down with me and like because at that point like he like went a year without drinking and like to see like me his daughter like doing this to herself like knowing that like I can like I'm willing to get the help it was just it was a beautiful moment and so my sober date's September 13th though. So I was like, I'm gonna have like one last drink. And yeah, no, it's doesn't really work out like that. But yeah, so I went in and it was like for the first time ever, like I was completely honest. Like I knew that the way I was living, I didn't know how to live. So I took all the suggestions. I was told within like 2 weeks of me being there, like, Erin, do you realize that you play the victim? Like you point the finger at your parents and you blame like everyone else for your problems, but like you don't look at yourself. And I was just like, excuse me? Like, how dare you? And then I realized, like, oh my gosh, I do that. I'm doing that right now. Like, what the fuck? Like, okay, so that was like an eye opener to me and like going to meetings like I went to my first meeting when I was 16 and like when I went to the hospital um after that like my parent like they made me go to a meeting and I'm like yeah I know this isn't happening like I still have the rest of my drinking to do but like I forgot like there was points in my like like I think like 19 and then like maybe 21, like where I went to meetings and I completely forgot about AA. Like even like went up until the point that like I was 23, like I completely forgot. It was like those mental blank spots of like, oh, this is something that could help you. Here you go. And completely forgetting that this program's out here. Um, and like I took the suggestions of going to a meeting going to meetings and like plural and like getting a home group finding a sponsor and I went through like multiple sponsors in my first year and like I would get to my third step and I'm like I don't know about it like I don't feel comfortable with this person and I like switch sponsors and that like that's my experience and my truth and that happened the way it was supposed to because my sponsor I I didn't feel like I was picking these sponsors based off of like what I thought like my ego. And like I was at this like sober party and like I just started crying to this girl, and I'm like, I feel crazy. Like I haven't gone through the steps, and like everyone's telling me I need to go through them. And I just was refusing to. And like it was the fear coming up because I didn't have the alcohol to like use as my solution that I had for so long. And so like left with just me, like I felt miserable and crazy. But like my sponsor, like I asked her to sponsor me, and I had to break up with the other sponsor, and like I was willing to do anything at that point. But then I got comfortable and was just like, well, things are feeling a little bit better now. Like, okay, I'll put it off a little bit. And but then I would get to those, it was like the temporary feeling okay. And I would get these moments of feeling insane, and like I didn't want to do the work, but I didn't want to drink. So I'm like, where is that leaving me? And it was before I was on my fourth step, and I it was the night before my grandfather's funeral, and I started praying to my grandpa, like, please just help me do like write out some of these, like I just want to finish this, or like just doing a few of them. And I ended up finishing all of them. I was so resentful. I had like 120 resentments, and that it stemmed down to was me not being okay with myself, realizing that. Like I would always like point the finger at everyone else, but meanwhile, it's just like me not feeling good enough. That's what it all stemmed down to. A lot of fears and insecurities and not sticking up for myself, like not feeling like I'm worth it, which is far from the truth. Uh, Today, like through this program, I've been able to like they talk about doing the program taught me to do esteemable acts and like without expecting anything in return. And like what am I doing outside of like the 1 hour of a meeting? What am I doing like the 23 hours, the rest of the 23 hours of the day? Like how am I as a person outside of this program, not just within? I don't know if I'm like all over the place right now, but that's what it is. Um, yeah, so coming in, like it changed my outlook, and it really is a design for living if you're willing to do it. Um, I like a month in, I'll talk about like my young people AA experience. It was a total God moment for me. The outpatient I was in, there was a flyer for this camp out, and I mentioned it to some people in my group, and like I was the only one that was voluntarily there, in outpatient. And I remember saying, like, guys, we're fucked up. Like, we're here for a reason. So like why not just utilize the fact that like let's just be honest. And it's like, okay, Erin, just be honest. I can't control how other people are gonna react, but I mentioned the camp out, and this girl that I was like friends with, she's like, that sounds stupid. Like hanging out with people you don't know. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but you're right. Like me being the follower I was for so long, but really wanting to do that. And so I reached out, I saw this girl that I was friendly with in high school post something about being sober on Facebook, and I reached out to her, and it turned out that she was the chair of that committee that was hosting the camp out, and it was happening that weekend. And I had a family group. I reached out to my counselor and was like, please, can I go to this? Like, I really think I'm meant to be there. And so I went, and I got there, and I'm like, oh my God, I want to turn around. I'm scared, like seeing like, but people saw me pull up, so I had to go. Like I felt like I had to go. And if that experience changed my life forever. I met people there that I'm still like good friends with today. And like, I joined the committee, I got involved, and like for so long I felt like I I didn't realize that people could count on me. Like I was always like in my drinking, I was flaky, I wouldn't show up. And like it taught me like responsibility and like being accountable, and like letting me like realize that I can actually do things, and it's okay to like mess up and like learn from my mistakes. Um, for so long, I like thought that I wasn't capable. only to realize that I am like, it's crazy. Like right now, I started out, I became the events chair for this committee, and like planning events, like I wouldn't have known that I enjoyed doing that if it wasn't for that committee. And it's taught me not only like these like life skills, but like how to interact with other people. Because like getting sober young, I didn't know how to communicate. Like in general, like I don't know how to communicate. And it's taught me to like be able to have uncomfortable conversations, not just within the committee, but like within the program, like being able to show up today for myself. Um, like in September, God willing, I'll have 8 years, and like life isn't always like rainbows and butterflies, as they say. Like things happen, like life happens, and but I've been able to get through life sober. And like I would have never thought I could do that. Like getting through hard shit, like going through breakups, like dealing with like the loss of family members, being able to show up for my family, like all these things that I get to be a daughter today. Like in the past, I would have like screaming matches with my mom, and like only to realize that like I don't have to be right all the time. I don't have to be right all the time. Like I want to be happy or do I want to be right? And it's like the amount like the chaos that I put my family through. Like I don't have to do that anymore. And, like I could be that daughter that they wanted, that they thought I would be. But yeah, if you're coming around, like if you're questioning it, just give it a shot. Um, it's worth it. Um, Life can be crummy at times, like whether you have time or no time, like it's really just about the perspective of like giving like they say like doing the steps as soon as possible. That wasn't my experience, but like in the big book, like it talks about doing it as soon as possible and helping the next to and suffering alcoholic. Um, Being of service to others, like that's really like for me in my experience, like doing service, that's what's helped me. Until like it's like things that serve a purpose in my life. And I just feel like I'm rambling right now, but yeah, if you're just coming around, I would highly suggest getting a sponsor, finding a home group. If you're in the Long Island area, you should come to our luau this weekend on Sunday. That's all I have. Thank you.